high school education in Hong Kong, and I actually went to an American school there. So when looking at my college application process, I was looking at the UK initially, but coming from an American high school, it made more sense. I had gone through the American system, and there were a lot of outreach programs in my high school from American universities. We had representatives come to Hong Kong from all these universities in the US. So in the end, it just made most sense applying to come here and studying here. I really liked the way the classes were taught. I had been through an Indian system before, as well as a British system before that. So I had kind of gotten a sense of what the secondary level of that education system might be like. And I really enjoyed being in an American high school where classes were more open, more conversational based. And I think that was probably one of the biggest assets and one of the things I wanted in my secondary education. It's a little daunting at first, especially when you're outside of the US and you're considering coming here. But I think the best thing would be to visit all the college websites and try and get a sense of what they offer. And if you have a college counselor at school, definitely talk to them, because I know I would not have gone through the whole process without their help. My summer before my senior year of high school, I actually came to the US and did a college tour, looked at campuses, because I hadn't been to the US since I was about 10, so it had been a long time since I was back here. So my parents and I decided to come here and actually physically look at the schools. And so we drove along the East Coast and looked at a lot of schools there, and that gave me a better sense of what it's like to be on a college campus. And so I would say that was when we first started. And then, of course, the fall of senior year is when you're busy writing those application letters. I applied to 10.
10 schools.
My school actually really helped me out because I had an older brother who had done this before, but not to the U.S., so a different process altogether. It was new for my parents and I, so my school really helped me out. They did all the mailing for us, which is really great. They really helped. I did not want to go to some really big school. I wanted a medium-sized school. Of course, programs, what I was interested in, it had to obviously be one of the schools that either focused on it or had a good program for it. To some extent, location. I did see myself more on the East Coast and the West Coast, so I did look at more schools here. I think those were probably the biggest factors. Of course, cost too, but not so much. But as an Indian citizen, applying for visas is something I do very regularly because we need one for every country. And I just recently applied for a normal US visa, so I wasn't too worried about it. And being in Hong Kong, it was much easier than if I had been in India itself. So I don't know if it's different. I'm sure it's different in different countries, but in Hong Kong, it just seemed they're just so efficient with everything that it didn't really. I went onto the website and saw all my requirements, and of course, university gives you most of the documents that you need, so there isn't much you need to do yourself. The only thing is standing in line and getting your appointment. That was mainly. I don't think it's something that you should get nervous about. I think normally they're really nice people, and they're really there to help you out. Don't be too nervous. Just go in. It's not really a test. It's just, they just want more information from you. Just be honest. In my high school, we were offered a class called Transitions, and it was geared towards helping us make that step from high school to college, which was actually really nice. Of course, I had never been to college here, so it was a new experience. I talked a lot with my college counselor. She was the one who highly recommended this school, so I of course went back to her and asked her, okay, well, talk to me about it. Tell me what's so great about it now that I'm actually going there. And in terms of my parents immediately started looking for family members around here to know, and we came I think we came a couple of days earlier than orientation just so we can get a sense of it. I mean, it is hard bringing what you think your life is and fitting into 2 suitcases, now 1 sometimes at some airlines. In terms of bringing things, of course you're bringing your clothes, but bring the memories that, you know, pictures are really good, photos of your family, your friends, your favorite book. I mean, there are a lot of things that you could just buy here, so I think a lot of people get nervous and decide to bring everything, like their bedding and things like that. I highly recommend just buying that here. There was a separate orientation for international students, as well as another orientation with everybody. So, because there are a lot of documentation issues that, as an international student, you have to go through, you know, a lot of legal issues. So that was really good. We had a separate orientation just for that, just to inform the students of what needs to be done. There's so many different types of visas as well, so, you know, and for some people it was their first time in the U.S., so it's also a way to ease their first time here. In the orientation, we were actually, because there's so many of us, we were broken into smaller groups, so it gave us a chance to meet other people, some from, you know, different parts of the world, so it was really great. And they did give us a chance, you know, during lunch breaks and meal breaks to actually talk to other students, talk to the other freshmen coming in, so. There's so many clubs on campus. There are over 200, and you have the opportunity to start your own if you're unhappy with the 200, so it's definitely one of the best parts. For me personally, I joined because I'm very interested in welcoming new students, because I know what it's like to be that new student, and especially because I had to move through different schools throughout life, and it is tough when you're the only new person there. It's hard to start making friends. So I joined the International Student Leadership Team, as well as what's called AU Diplomats, where we meet with new international students who are coming in and try to answer their questions. And then in terms of other organizations, I became a member of Invisible Children, which is this group that helps, we're trying to stop the Ugandan child soldiers, and so there's just so many different interests. There's French club, there's, you know, intramural soccer, there's so many things that you could do on campus.